A warm welcome to everybody joining us today. Yes, you've got a friend. You've got several friends. You've got lots of friends. You've got friends you don't even know, but we've got a whole community from all over the world. My name is Sandra Champlain. Welcome to our 102nd Sunday gathering. And that last song just got me all emotional because that's one of the ones we played a couple of years ago when we started our Sunday gathering. And my friends and I got together in service to share that, yes, you've got a friend, you are never alone. So each week we celebrate life and the afterlife, and that we have a whole unseen world around us supporting us. So we aim to put a smile on your face, to inspire, to give you good words for the week, and friendship, of course. So Carrie has choreographed our Sunday gathering, so I'll pass it over to Carrie and she can explain more.
Thank you very much, Sandra. It is my absolute pleasure to bring the Sunday gathering to you. And we have a whole variety of people with us, but I want to say that today's theme is grace, and the music today was chosen by our friend Denise Litchfield down under in Australia, and who will be joining us for today. It is 6 a.m. for Denise, so maybe by the time you do the address, Denise, you'll have had another coffee and have woken up a bit more. But with grace being the theme for today, we all need that bit of grace. Grace goes hand in hand with healing. And for the healing, I've asked that Darren deliver the healing alongside a beautiful song. We know there are things happening in the world just now. That doesn't mean that we are not able to do our piece. If we can all get together under the banner of healing all at the same time, we can make an incredible impact on people who need healing at this moment. So please don't think that your healing doesn't matter, because it absolutely does. As we move through this service, our gatherings are always about healing. And at this time, more than any time, I suppose there's a need for us to feel a coming together. Now, we know that there are things in this world that we cannot control, and we know there are things that we can do to assist. Our way is to provide the Sunday gathering for you, for a way to uplift your souls and remind you that life is for living, that our loved ones in the spirit world are not far away, and that we want to bring you this moment, or these moments, where we get together and assure you of that life ever after. But we know there's people in the world that will never be far from our hearts and our thoughts throughout today's gathering. So as we move through today, Mr. Dykes is helping in the background. Can't see you from there. He's going to be helping in the background. We've got Sandra doing an absolute splendid job behind the scenes there, and managing the mediumship for both Denise and myself. Denise will be doing the address as well, and I've asked Darren to open in prayer, do today's reading, and also deliver the healing. So I'll pass over to Darren now. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Kerry, and that wonderful introduction. And as always, a massive welcome to all of you. So without further ado, if you'd all like to close your eyes and join us for the opening prayer. United, we stand together here today with the same goal and intent within our hearts and our minds, to unite our world with that of the unseen. We come together here as friends, brothers and sisters. We unite here today from various countries across our globe. We come together from different backgrounds. We come together from different understandings and different learnings. But today, we come together in the understanding. We put our daily lives to one side. We put our own desires, our own wants, and our own needs to one side, so that we can come together in service and come together into this gathering with no demands or no expectations, but we enter into this with an open heart and an open mind, knowing that anything and everything is possible, so that we can create the right conditions and atmosphere for our workers here today and allow them to work openly and freely, so we can all feel that healing balm and hear those thoughts and words from that world we call unseen, so we can truly come together as one in the joy and celebration of uniting the two worlds together as one. We ask that our dear friends, helpers and loved ones from that world unseen Join us here again today for our Sunday gathering. And as always, our work is here today. Find it an absolute joy and privilege to work on behalf of your world, to work with your world, and to be a representation of your world within this world. And as always, we do this with the utmost truth and integrity. And we hope that we do this to the best of our ability and make you truly proud. As we enter into this Sunday gathering and our theme of grace, we do so as always with pure love within our hearts, positivity within our minds, and smiles upon our faces, so that we can truly create the right conditions to unite the two worlds together as one. And throughout this gathering and afterwards, we ask that a healing light is shone across our world to help bring peace and comfort to all those minds that are going through moments of fear and upset at this moment in time. And we ask that a healing balm also be sent to some of the leaders of our worlds to try and stop some of these insanities going on, so that we can truly bring peace and tranquility to all of mankind. So once again, friends, we open up this service in love. Amen. Okay, I'm going to start off with the reading today. And as always, I could not decide what reading to do. So I've got two very small readings, which I found, they brought a smile to my face and made me think a little bit. So I hope they do the same for you. First one is called A Glass of Milk. One day, a poor boy who was selling goods from door to door to pay his way through school realized all he had was a dime in his pocket. Nobody was buying his goods and he was getting very hungry. He decided he would try to barter for some food at the next house. He rang the doorbell, and when a lovely woman answered, he lost his nerve to barter for food, so he asked only for a drink of water. The woman looked at him and instantly knew he was hungry, so instead of bringing him a drink of water, she brought him a glass of milk. He slowly drank it, and when he finished, he asked, "How much do I owe you?" "You don't owe me anything," she replied. "Mother has taught us never to accept pay for a kindness." He said, "Well, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate it." When Howard Kelly left the house, he not only felt stronger physically, but his faith in God and good people was renewed. He was ready to give up on both until this happened. Years later, the young woman became critically ill. The local doctors were baffled. They finally sent her to the big city, where they called in a specialist to study her rare disease. Dr. Howard Kelly was called in for the consultation. When he heard the name of the town she came from, a strange feeling overcame him. Immediately he rose and went down the hall to her hospital room. Dressed in his doctor's gown, he went in to see her and recognized her at once. He went back to the consultation room, determined to do his best to save her life. From that day forward, he gave her special attention. After a long struggle, the battle was won. Dr. Kelly requested the business office to pass the final bill to him for approval. He looked at it and then wrote something on the edge, and the bill was sent to her. When the woman received the bill, she dreaded opening it because she knew it would take the rest of her life to pay for it all. Finally, as she slowly ripped open the envelope and pulled out the invoice, she looked and something caught her attention. On the side of the bill, she read, "Paid in full with 1 glass of milk. Signed, Dr. Howard Kelly." The second reading I want to share with you is called Amazing Grace. Susan Thompson, as far back as she can remember, always practiced the piano. She even took lessons every week. But what stood out more than anything else was that she practiced every day for hours. The problem was she was not meant to play the piano. No matter how much she practiced, she never got any better. Everyone asked her why she didn't give up. She explained that this was her one real joy in life, It was something no one could take away from her. You see, she was adopted, and as she was growing up, she always got the hand-me-downs from everyone else. Because she was the youngest in the family, there were a lot of hand-me-downs. The one thing that she could call her own was the piano her parents had bought her. Even if it was a used one, it was still hers because none of the other children had any interest in playing. Weeks became months and months became years. She never gave up. All through grade school and even into high school, she practiced. Her piano teachers would from time to time let her play in a recital. They usually let her play last. That was when the parents could leave without hearing her. Yes, she was that bad. You might wonder why she was so bad. Was she tone deaf? Was she blind? No, she only had 8 fingers. All the piano teachers told her that she would never be any good because of that. Susan never gave up. She would just smile and continue practicing. After she turned 24, she was working in Walmart as a cashier, and it would amaze people that she could handle almost anything with no problem. From bagging the items to counting the change back, Susan worked there for the next 15 years, and she even became the head cashier in charge of all the other cashiers. One day she was working, and the store announced a call for her. This wasn't unusual, as from time to time her parents would have one of the children call her and ask her to bring something home from the store. But this day wasn't the case. The call was from one of her sisters. She said that Dad had died and she needed to come home. Without hesitation, she called the supervisor and they gave her time off. On her ride home, she cried her heart out. You see, she always had a special spot in her heart for her dad. Even if he wasn't her natural father, he was the one who insisted that they buy the piano. He also was the one that kept the family in check while she practiced. As bad as she sounded, he wouldn't let the other children tease her. 3 days later, after all the arrangements were made for the funeral, Susan asked to play. All the children were against this, but Mum insisted that it would be fine. You have to understand that Dad was a man well liked and that his funeral would be well attended. The children didn't want the embarrassment of having to sit through more of her piano playing, especially at their father's funeral. As Susan sat down at the piano, the church became so quiet you could have heard a pin drop. Everyone knew Susan and how she played. They all thought it was a wonderful way to honour her father. She started playing Amazing Grace. The sound that came out of the piano was nothing like they had ever heard. It was like an angel playing. The notes were so clear, and Susan even added a few of her own. By the time she finished playing, there wasn't a dry eye in the church. As the last note faded away, Susan stood up and walked over to her dad and kissed him goodbye. She then went back to her seat and cried. After the service, the people flocked to her asking why she had never played like that before. She said today was the first day for the rest of his life that her dad could hear her play. You see, her dad was born deaf, and even though he'd gone to every one of her recitals, he had never heard her. She knew that today and forevermore he could now hear. Susan went on to play the piano for her church and many other functions. She also became a piano teacher. You would always hear her tell a new student that no matter how bad they were at first, they would learn to play. And when asked how she knew this, she would simply say, "My father is listening." So as we now go into our healing moment, our healing song is Amazing Grace, a beautiful song. And to echo the words that Kerry spoke to us earlier about, there is a lot going on in the world at the moment. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of fear. But the one thing we can do collectively is we can combat that hate. We can combat that fear. So as we're sitting for that healing moment, if you feel or know of anyone, close to you that may be in need of healing at this moment, then please, have them in your thoughts and have them in your mind. But let's try collectively, as we're sitting for this healing moment, let's send out that love to combat the hate. Let's send out that calm and peaceness to combat that fear. Let's do what we can to truly make a difference. And as Kerry said, we can make a massive difference. We may not see it, we may not know it, but believe us, collectively, we can make such a massive difference. So let's now sit and listen to this beautiful piece of music, but all the time, let's send that love, let's send out that calm, and let's send out that peace.
Hello, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to be part of the 102th gathering. And I am awake and I'm absolutely thrilled. So thank you, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, everyone. It's my pleasure to share the address with you today. And I'm so glad that Sandra has played that song, because that's the song I'm going to be talking about. Now, we all know this song. It's a brilliant rendition too, by the way. I love that one. I haven't heard that one before. We know this song. It hit the charts, the top of the pops, about 400 years ago, Amazing Grace. And you would imagine that the person that wrote that song was a poet. He had a way with words. He was absolutely in touch with the spirit world and his God. But you don't know that the guy that wrote Amazing Grace was once the sweariest sailor in the whole of England, and he could swear non-stop for half an hour without using the same word twice. John Newton was known as the great blasphemer, and he was a rough, tough sailor who was practically born on the sea. And he went from really a wretch, truly, to the gentleman that we know that penned this beautiful song. But Amazing Grace was John Newton's prayer of thanks. It was his story. It was like his biography in a way. And he, as I said, he was the sweariest sailor. He offended even the other sailors, but he was somebody that did not know grace. He didn't even believe in any sort of divinity at all. In fact, he went out of his way to dissuade his sailors, his friends, anyone he could find away from their God, from a higher purpose in life to one a little bit more mundane. He actually had 3 near misses himself, 3 times when he missed his own death. And you think that'd be a wake-up call for him. He was thrown from a horse and narrowly missed being impaled. He arrived too late, probably hungover, but no one knows, to board a ship to go and inspect something. And as the ship left the harbour, it overturned and everybody drowned in that boat. And he got lost in a swamp once and he thought he was going to die. And then the moon came out and he was able to find his way back. So that was his 3 near misses. But you've had near misses too in your life. What happens when you have a near miss, a near death experience, something that, oh my goodness, there but for, don't we say, the grace of God? What do you do? I know for me, I send up a little prayer. I send up a little, oh my goodness, thank you. Only the other day, I was walking down to the supermarket, walking along the footpath, and I was crossing one of the side roads and there was a car there waiting to turn out, and another car just zipped straight in. And honestly, it missed me by this much. And I thought, oh my goodness, 2 more seconds and I would have been cleaned up. We talk about that as grace, don't we? When something could have happened one way and it didn't, or something happened for somebody that we love dearly, and then there's some kind of divine reprieve in a way coming out of the blue. We talk about grace under fire, where we hold our own, we hold our heads high no matter what, pretty much like what's happening now in Ukraine. And we become very aware of ourselves as mortal. We are brushed with our mortality. We have a little reminder that we don't have forever. And what are we going to do about it? None of this touched John Newton's mind at all. He had those 3 misses I talked about, but no, he kept going. Since the age of 11, he was on the seas. He was not educated. He lived a life at sea, but his reputation for profanity and debauchery preceded him to the point where not many other sailors even wanted to be on the same ship with him. He was a bit of a rebel. And at the age of 19, he took the king's shilling, which was another way of saying he got press ganged into the Navy without choice. Didn't like it there either, didn't get on with anybody. And he was flogged once for being insubordinate. And that didn't stop him either. That wasn't the wake-up call. So he decided to mess up even more and organize some kind of mutiny. And we all know what happens to mutineers on board a ship, don't we? The crew had had so much of that, had enough of him, and they dumped him in Africa. Now, this was slave trading times 400 years ago, and they dumped him in Africa, and he became the property of an African princess, not treated very well at all. Still didn't worry about it, still didn't have one little thought of, oh, maybe I need to have a bit of a life review. So he's in Africa, stuck. His dad comes and rescues him. He boards a ship. Dad sends a ship. He's boarding a ship to come home. There's a massive storm. The storm went for 11 days. A little bit like the storm we're having now in Australia. Storm went for 11 days. And the whole crew was absolutely exhausted. They just didn't know how they were going to get through this storm. They tied him, John Newton, he was so exhausted, he couldn't do anything. They tied him to the helm of the ship just so he could steer it, because that was all that they could do. Minutes before he came on deck, another crewman was swept overboard as well. Here he is in this storm, the sweariest sailor, the man who had absolutely zero repentance. And in the middle of this storm, he thought the ship was going to go down and everything. And that moment, it took that 11-day storm for him to send up a prayer, just one little prayer of, oh my goodness, if I get through this, God. First time we mentioned God, he was going to be a changed man. And of course, we know what happens, don't we? The storm subsided, he was able to get to back home. And that was his moment. It took the storm for him to actually realize. And isn't this funny? Because sometimes it takes a lot for some people. Sometimes it takes a lot for us to finally go, oh yeah, maybe I need to look at this. Maybe there is something I can do. Maybe I can be a nicer person. And that was John Newton, the sweariest sailor. That was his moment. But we've all cried out in a storm, haven't we? We've all sent out that cry when someone close to us is in trouble or ill, or something happens. We just need that little bit of a miracle, really. And our awareness that we are maybe just one part in a whole, that we aren't everything, that we aren't in charge. If there's one thing that storm would have taught him, is that we aren't in charge of the world. And maybe when we surrender and let go, like that song, that first song, The Amazing Grace, and I think it was the second song, let go. When we surrender to something that's bigger than us, that's when the miracles start. That's when those funny synchronicities, that's when everything just seems to fall into place. And that's what happened to John Newton. So he let go of the steering wheel of his life and handed it over to a higher power. But he was illiterate, really. And jobs in the church were hard to come by, and certainly not by lay people. They usually went to educated people of a different class. So he taught himself Latin, he taught himself Greek, he learned all the scriptures, and he finally became a curate, a pastor. And you know what? He was the most popular one there. Not because he was born wealthy or studied or anything, but because he understood the trials and tribulations of the everyday person. He had a way of communicating. He probably wasn't swearing at this stage, but he had a way of communicating that got through to people that really understood him, that really he thought that he related to them. And of course, his influence grew, and he rose up and eventually became, you know, ordained and all of those things, begrudgingly by the other people. He was just so popular because he understood what the journey was like. And then he pens the song Amazing Grace. So when he does say that, you know, that saved a wretch like me, he really is admitting that he was a wretch, and that he has been able to, even the sweariest sailor has a point and a place and reprieve to start again. And the reason why I chose the story of John Newton is because it's a very vivid example of how somebody can see the light, can feel that grace, can have that moment where everything in their life might be going one way and it might feel like an absolute disaster, but then something miraculous happens. He, in the words of Phil and Kerry, spiritualized himself. It was his moment of redemption in a way, where he realized that he might be something more than just the sweariest sailor. And isn't that something that we all come to, where you would have had moments yourself where you realize, what's my worth? There's something more. And you're given a little glimmer of that, a little shining moment of what's possible. What else is possible in your world? What else is possible in your life? And a little door opens, and all you got to do is walk through it. And that, I believe, is grace. So where we become aware of ourselves as mortals, as one little piece in the jigsaw puzzle, but not the whole puzzle. It's a moment where we receive special help. And this might be a moment now where you're going through your own memories. Those are special moments, those divine interventions in a way that have caused you to change path, given you a break, those seemingly insignificant synchronicities that come along, even landing here at the gathering. I'm so happy to be here on the 102th one. I think I joined on the 2nd or the 3rd. I've been coming ever since. Our little moments of grace can be tiny, but they can be huge. Most of all, it gives us a sense of awe as well. That feeling of wonder, which I believe is how we touch the divine. The feeling of awe and wonder and magic, and not having an answer for everything, but still staying true and having that open the heart and our soul. So most of all, I think that grace is an invitation to change, to take action. It gives us those nudges, like John Newton had those 3 near misses of falling off the horse and the boat turning over. He didn't do anything, but on the storm, he did. And that is the essence of being able to take a nudge and then moving on and doing something about it. So if John Newton could say that only God's amazing grace could take a rude, profane, slave trading sailor and transform him, I believe there's hope for us as well. Thank you very much for listening, ladies, gentlemen, everyone. I'll hand it back to Sandra.
Denise, thank you so very much. And ladies and gentlemen, I know a couple of hands just went up. We don't really have a way to applause, but if you want to press your raise hand button, just a little applause there for Denise. I tell you what, I will never forget that story. Never. Oh, and you could hear it with you speaking and then also with Darren's readings. And ladies and gentlemen, don't you feel that you could just feel that tug on the soul, that inspiration? Wow, inspire in spirit. And it gives me great pleasure because now we're going to introduce the spirit world, who are around us anyways. But this is such a beautiful occasion during our Sunday gatherings to work with the spirit world, to let all of us know that they're here. Our loved ones are with us. We have support. We have love every moment that we walk this earth, every single moment. So we're going to start our demonstration of mediumship. And I know we have some new friends joining us and some friends that have been here. I like how you say 102th times, Denise. Absolutely. So I just want to run through how it happens. In a moment, we're going to listen to a very lively piece of music, and it's just an opportunity to celebrate being together. It's a nice opportunity to feel the love, to imagine your loved ones being right in the room with you. And they could be your loved ones who have passed. They could be the ones that are alive and aren't presently with you. But spirit to spirit, soul to soul, we are all in this together. So invite them in. And then we have the beautiful Denise and Carrie doing the demonstration of mediumship. The spirit world is in charge of this, so they will plant their thoughts and memories and feelings and pictures and all those good things into the mind, bodies, and spirits of these two ladies, and they will do their best to represent the spirit person who's very much alive and well, and that they're going to be working on behalf of this person. You'll hear them give different bits of information about the person that has connected with them, and they'll share that. And we want you to really listen in keenly. We always have usually over 100 people or 200 people at our Sunday gatherings. If you can recognize all the information that they are sharing as somebody that no longer walks this earth, but you know, and it could be a loved one, it could be a friend, it could be somebody a little distant that you know of. You never know how the spirit world works, but if you recognize the person that is stepping forward with this information, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, I know I just gave you an opportunity to do that. If you're still a little uncertain where that raise hand button is, feel free to press it again now. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a few people taking us up on that. And then you can also press it one more time. It'll say lower hand. You can press that again to take your hand down. And why this is important is sometimes with the information given, we have several people that raise their hand, and we want to identify the correct recipient. While all of our loved ones are present, and probably thousands and thousands of loved ones are present, there is a very strong intelligence that they know exactly who is in our Zoom webinar today. So even though we are meeting by computer or phone or tablet, the spirit world knows who's watching. And I think it's amazing, amazing grace. So once we identify who the person is that is going to be working with our medium, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Now you can't see the unmute button just yet. I have to do a little magic on my side so that you can. And when I say you can talk to the medium, we really want only three different responses. So they'll provide some information, and we just want you to say yes, no, or I don't know. So they are working through everything they've got to deliver this information accurately with integrity, but there's no secret formula that's so dialed in that it's all perfect. So again, you can say yes, no, you don't understand, or I don't know, and they'll work a little harder to get into that information and see what they can do. Although there may be just a handful of people in our gathering that get a reading today, for everyone else, I truly believe that they are stepping forward as representatives of the spirit world to let us know that all of our loved ones are there. And if you listen in closely, there are some bits of gold in the messages that we can all take on. So I think there really is a divine intelligence at play. So that's pretty much it. So just sit back, relax. I'm going to play a piece of music, and then we'll be back in just a moment. So invite your loved ones in, feel some love. Easy to do, I know.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Thank you for that lovely chance to be able to work on behalf of the Spirit Word for everyone today. And thank you, Kerry and Phil and Sandra and Darren. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, I'm absolutely delighted to be here. So I know now, as I've been blending with the spirit world, and there is a huge excitement here on the other side, and I hope to be able to bring that over for you today. But the first person that I'm aware of is Mum in spirit. And I know you would have memories of Mum. You would never be able to leave Mum's house without a little plastic container of food, perhaps more than just one. But I know that Mum showed her love with food, and you could not leave her house. She would want to make sure that you were eating. So I know this is a memory of Mum, and she loves with food, but you had to be able to bring food with you in a plastic container. And that's who I'm looking for, Sandra.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you can understand this information, if you go ahead and press your raise hand button.
And now we wait.
All right. We have Nina and Pam both with
right.
their hands raised.
Yes, I see. And I knew that I
And
might have a few. But I just know that with Mum, there is an incredible kindness as well that goes with this. And it's not even trying to control your life. It's just this incredible kindness that she has. And I know I've got several hands here, but I also know with Mum, so I need you to be able to take this as well, that she would just want to hug you and hug you. So she's quite physical as well, because she comes with this big hug. And it's like she comes from the side to hug you. She would never, ever stop that. So with that, might narrow it down a little bit. I see Sandra as well.
Yes, we now have 3 ladies with their hands up.
We have 3. Okay. Let me see with Mum, because I know that, and she loves a bit of a small talk. So I know that Mum would be able to chat and keep everything on a fine key. So I know that she was really good with the small talk as well. And perhaps not with the deep emotional talk either, but I know that she could smooth things over really well. And we're down to 2. We're doing well.
2. We have Erin and Nushi with their hands up.
Oh,
just down to, Nushi went
let's
back up and down.
Let's try Erin and we'll see. Yeah.
See where we go. All right. Erin, could you press your unmute button? Hi, Erin.
Hello.
Hi, Erin. Hello. Now, your Mum. This sounds like your delightful Mum. Do you understand that the takeaway little plastic containers of food with her?
I understand everything except it would be my grandma, my mom's mom.
Okay. That's all right. But you would have had a very close feeling with her as well, like Mum.
Yes.
Yes, this feels right. I think I might want to stay here, Sandra. But please, I'll keep my eye on the other 2 just in case as well. So Erin, with your grandmother, she just feels squishy to me, like you just want to hug her. So I know that she would have done that, yes?
Yes.
Right. And you know what I mean by squishy? I just want to squeeze her, right? So I know that she would have done this for you as well. And I do believe she would have done it for your children. She would have been around to see your kids.
Not mine.
Okay, but you understand this for doing for other kids as well, not just you.
Yes.
Yes, because I don't think you couldn't be in her vicinity without getting squished. Okay, so I know that she's very demonstrative like that. And this is what she wants to come in with. And I know it was like, I don't really want to dwell with good news. I just want to keep it light and cheerful with Grandma.
Yes.
Right. And she had this way of smoothing things over. And you know that my experience feels like that no matter what was going on in your life, she would smooth it down.
Yes.
Right. Without actually addressing what was really going on.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like, she just reminds me of one of these ladies that just spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. And that's how I feel. So that is a song from Mary Poppins, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, I wonder if she's taken you to see Mary Poppins.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, you just dropped out there, but
Sorry. I don't know. I don't remember.
okay. And you don't understand the name Mary in the spirit world then?
No.
That's all right. I just wanted to check that. But I understand the spoonful of sugar part of your grandmother here. And I know that that was the way that she healed. That was her healing way. Do you understand? And it's almost like you could come to her with anything and she's like, wouldn't bat an eyelid.
Yes.
Right. Which made her very, very compassionate and very understanding. And she just had a way about her. It's almost like I could hold the whole world in my arms and everything would be okay. And that would have been how you felt with your grandma.
Yes.
Right. Because this is what she's bringing through now. And I know that with the food that she would have given you, there would have been some favorite recipes in there.
Yes.
Right. And it feels like some of those recipes have come down through the family.
Yes.
Right. Would you understand? I just feel like I want to talk about a Christmas cake or a fruit cake.
Coffee cake and banana cake.
Right. Okay. Okay. But I definitely know there's cake there. But it's like there's like grandma's recipe, right? And I know that she's absolutely chuffed because she's letting me know that she's been there while you've made it since she's passed. And I know you think of her every time you make it because she's letting me know that she gets it. She's there and she understands that. And it's like a little piece of grandma and a little piece of sweetness. And that is the essence of grandma. And I know that that's what she comes through for you today, Erin, is to give you that hug and give you that sweetness no matter what else is going on in your world, that, you know, the sweetness of life is always there. And that's how she made you feel all your life. That's how she continues to make you feel now from the spirit world.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much for working with me, Erin. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Denise.
Excuse me. All right. Now, let me see. There is a gentleman in the spirit world now that I am aware of, and he does feel like Dad. And you'd know that Dad wore dress pants and suspenders. And I do feel I'm looking at a gentleman that was well dressed, but you would remember him in the house wearing suspenders on his pants. So this is Dad with suspenders that I'm looking for, and I know he would have worn them in the house. Well-dressed man.
Okay.
Makes
Whoever
sense
can
for
understand this, if you would press your raise hand button. Well,
Oh my goodness, only one?
Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. No, Erin's got her hand. Oh, we got lots of hands up.
All right, that's okay. I know this is fine. Because I know I've got Dad here with his suspenders, and he was a well-dressed man right up until the end. He wasn't the kind of man that would be getting around in trackies around the house. So I know as he's getting older, he's still well-dressed, to understand. And you would remember the suspenders. And the other thing I want to talk about is, I have said he's well-dressed, but you would also remember a beanie that he would have worn. And it may be for a joke, it may even be for a football type of beanie, but I know that he's wearing this beanie. Oh, and we have one person. Awesome.
All right, we have Yvonne, would you be so kind and press your unmute button, please?
Good
Hi,
evening, good morning.
It wasn't a beanie, it was a baseball cap.
Aha. So that's sports related though, so I understand that part. And this is Dad, Yvonne.
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law, but he would have felt like close like Dad there.
Yeah.
Good, because I know he doesn't distinguish between daughter and daughter-in-law as far as I'm aware, because I know that he has this real strength that he comes through. He would have been a supporter of you, Yvonne.
Yes. Yes, he
right.
was.
In a very quiet way.
Yes.
Because I feel him standing by your side, and he would have done that in life as well as energetically. But in a very, I also feel like he's quite diplomatic.
Yes.
Right, because I feel like I have to be a diplomat in my family sometimes, and he would have gone to bat for you in that way. Right, lovely, because this is how he feels. He doesn't feel like a man of many words, though.
Not overly talkative, no.
Yeah, it's like when I have something to say, I'm going to say it. And I know I'm measuring my words very carefully here, so there wouldn't have been a word out of place. He wouldn't have been able to just run off at the mouth and then take it all back. Every word, yes, it feels very considered, because he's measuring his words with me now, and I need to make sure that I'm saying the right words on his behalf. And you'd understand that he was a man of quite strong values, but quiet values as well.
Yes.
Right. So there's kind of a solemnness about him, but he wasn't a stick in the mud either.
That's correct.
I know. And this brings me to the beanie part, because it's all, no, sorry, you said baseball cap. My mistake. The baseball cap seems a little incongruous, so I know he would have worn it only for like sports times.
Yes, that's correct.
Right, because it does seem incongruous. But I know that he was very, he was one way when he was with you, but I feel like when I'm watching my sport, it does feel like baseball. Is that correct, Yvonne?
All sports.
All sports, thank you. Yes, and as you say that, I got a picture of the American football, right? Yes. When you tuck the ball under your arm. Okay, and I just feel like I'm alive.
Yes.
Just animated, right? And this would be your father-in-law, and it's like, who are you? Because he's really expressing himself. And then after the sports, he's back to sort of stay very kind of controlled father-in-law. But I know that you've been with him at sports events and been able to enjoy that side of him as well, Yvonne.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. There must have been a sports event recently that you watched or was part of that you would have thought about him.
Yes.
Right, because he's making me aware of like the cheering and is it true that there's all? I just feel like I've got things in my hands and I'm really engaging in the event.
On the TV, it was, yes.
Right. Okay, but you would have been seeing people on the screen that had all those things that they right. I'm showing my ignorance of football here, but you'd understand that everyone's like super engaged, and you would have had a chuckle about that and sent a thought up to your father-in-law when you saw that, because he's making me aware that he was right there with you, celebrating life. Do you understand? Which is really what it is, and as I'm aware of that, I know your father-in-law comes in. And you must have your attention on a family member at the moment.
Yes.
Yvonne.
Yes.
This will be a child.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
He's aware that your attention is on this child at the moment, and he is letting you know that he is doing all he can from the spirit world for whatever you need from that department.
Thank you.
He sends his love. Thank you very much for working with me, Yvonne.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Denise. Beautiful.
I'm so chuffed. I haven't coughed yet. I'm absolutely thrilled. Okay, so let's see. As I'm moving my awareness to the spirit world, I can't get the idea of cake out of my mind, but I will move on from there. Oh, actually, I can't. All right, this must be a birthday cake that I want to talk about. Let me see here. All right, this feels like Mum in the spirit world again, but she's bringing a birthday cake to somebody here in the living that would have had a birthday, and I mean recently. And I feel also that Mum would have baked this cake when she was in the living. I can see Angie's hand up and Alan's.
Yes, we have two hands up.
Right.
3 hands up.
Oh, and more. All right. So you understand these 3 people here, this birthday cake that Mum would have made you was homemade. Yes. And I feel that it has 2 tiers. I feel like she would have done the whole icing business in between as well. And it was like icing for days on this cake. All right. Okay. Now, you would also have a memory of her in the living when it was your birthday and this cake. I feel like I'm walking in and I'm singing happy birthday, but I feel like there's only one candle on the cake.
All right.
We're narrowing it down.
We're
Oh,
going
we're
down.
narrowing it down.
We have Angie and
All right.
Alan. Both can
I
accept
know.
one candle on the cake.
Yes, and I have worked with Angie before, but I do feel like this is a mum coming for a daughter. So can I just see Angie and Alan? Let's see how it goes for you. Happy birthday, Angie.
Thank you.
And we do know each other, so I want to let you know that I have worked with Angie before, but I don't think I've brought your mother through.
Correct.
So, and do let me know if I'm repeating myself as well. Angie, so this is your mum making you a birthday cake.
Yes.
And you'd understand when she presented it to you, I feel like I'm walking in singing happy birthday.
Yes.
And I know there's only one candle on the cake.
That sounds correct. Yes.
Right. And I know also the room is dark. So I know that this would have been like a family event birthday, but a very homely one.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Because I feel like there is that, and she's singing, and it's the love of the family here that was more important than all the presents and all the fancy stuff.
Yes.
Right. And this is the kind of mum that you have memories of, where there was a little bit of make and do there. Do you understand? There might not have been a lot of money, but she made good with what she had.
Always.
Always. Good. Because I know this cake, I know she would have made you several, but my memory goes to this cake, and it's like the icing is everywhere. It must be the buttercream icing where it's all kind of messy.
Yeah. Yes. Lots of
Right.
icing.
Okay. Lots of icing, because I know I've got a lot of icing here. All right. Excuse me. I'm just going to cough. All right, Angie. And I know that she would have made your favorite things on that birthday as well. Your favorite foods, Angie.
Yes.
Right. Good. Because I also feel I've got those little disgusting little hot dogs as well. Do you understand those?
No, don't
Those
understand anything about the little hot dogs.
Okay, you don't understand party franks there.
No.
Okay, can I just check Alan? Just hang in there, Angie. Something just feels a little bit scratchy there. Alan, do you mind if we, thank you, Sandra. Hello, Alan.
Hello.
Hello. I'm not going to make you into a girl, I promise. Do you understand Mum? No.
No, it's more grandmother.
Grandmother, and you understand the homemade birthday cake?
Yeah.
And you understand the one candle?
Yeah.
And you understand her singing?
Sorry. Oh, singing, yeah.
Singing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you understand the party franks, the little party cocktail sausages?
Yeah.
Aha, that feels a little better. Angie, thank you very much for your patience. Let me just see how this goes. Alan, and you'd understand your mum was very much make, do and mend.
My grandmother.
Sorry, mum's
Yeah.
sake. Your grandmother was very much make, do and mend. And you'd understand with this cake, there was a lot of icing.
A lot of icing.
And it was almost like for you didn't care. It was all about the icing anyway.
That's right.
Right, because I know that I've got icing all over my hands, and your grandmother knew this, and it was all the other kids, and it was all about, let's just get into this cake, right?
Yeah.
And it was like a feast, all right? And this is how it feels, where your grandmother would have given you a feast from your childhood viewpoint. And I know with grandma, it's not like going to her house is like a feast.
That's right.
It's like, it was almost like this magical time where everything was there, and you just kept so engaged with. Grandma was able to show you things and bring a fascination of things
That's right.
to you. And there would have been things that you would have learned how to work. It's almost like she's teaching you how to work things.
Yeah, she taught me how to knit.
Okay, I didn't get knit, but I love it. Thank you. Would you also have had a cuckoo clock in your house?
She did.
She
years
did.
ago.
That's right. Good, because I know that I'm talking about her house, and I know there's a fascination for the cuckoo clock as well in that house. And it's almost like every time I hear a cuckoo clock, I've got this memory of grandmother coming along. Now, your grandmother had a bit of a sense of humor, though, didn't she?
She did.
Because I feel like I love to watch those early British shows like Benny Hill and Steptoe
Oh,
and
that's my
Son.
granddad's favourite.
Right. All right. Well, there's your granddad poking his little 2 cents worth in there too, because I know I've got, and on the buses as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. Because I know I've got these shows here, and I know you would have watched them with your grandparents, but it gave you this sense of warmth and family that was very, very special for you when you were growing up.
Definitely.
Right. And you could almost say now, looking back, that there was a very much of a healing aspect that went in to your relationship with your grandparents, and you got things from your grandparents that you might not have gotten elsewhere emotionally.
That's true.
And they're coming in, well, both of them, but I do sense grandpa now, but grandma's the one here that I've got. And it's funny because now, after all this celebration, she's gotten very quiet, and it's like she would have showed you her love through her doing things for you.
Oh, yeah.
More than just saying, right?
Yeah.
But there wasn't a moment that went by where you didn't know you were loved from her.
Oh, no, it's true.
Right. That's what I want to leave you with too, because I know as she goes, as she passes, there wasn't much that was actually left to you.
No,
but
there
you've
wasn't.
But it didn't matter, because you've got those memories and that love, and that's always going to stay with you.
Oh, always will do. Always.
So, Alan, thank you for working with me. Happy birthday.
Well, it was on the 20th of last month, but it's very close.
That'll do. It's fine. I want to leave grandmother's love and her cake and her icing with you. Thank you so much for working with me. And thank you, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, everyone. Thank you very much for the pleasure of working on behalf of the spirit world. I'll hand it over to
Thank you so much, Denise. It is a pleasure to have you here, and what good things to say. We do have memories, the most important thing and most valuable. So now we have our dearest Carrie McLeod. Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Sandra. Lovely to see you working, Denise. And it's lovely to see that even early in the morning, mediumship still works. And we know you've had a little bit of a health issue and one cough. You were worried about that. So thank you very much for the address and for the mediumship. It's an absolute wonder to watch you work. And as I begin to work the spirit world here, this must be the night for mums and dads, because I feel I have dad here, and I feel that dad would have driven trucks, or in the UK we would call them lorries, but I know he would have driven different sizes of trucks, because I know at one point he would have driven a small van, and I get the sense that we've moved up to the larger trucks. But I get the sense as well with Dad that there is such a quiet nature about him. He is very much a loner in some ways, but I also know that you would have memories of him coming back and bringing stories of these truck journeys with him.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. All right, well, we have Alan back. Alan, if you could press your unmute button.
Sorry.
Was it an accident?
Was what an accident?
You raising your hand? No.
No.
Oh, if you can take it, it's
again.
all right. Spirit works in wondrous ways. Okay.
And it's strange, I've been thinking about my dad today.
So Alan, you would understand, I know that Denise has already worked with you, but you would understand your dad driving these different sizes of trucks.
Yeah.
And there must have been a time where he was in one of the larger trucks that you would recall him telling you a story of when he hit a deer with the truck.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Can I just check, Sandra, because I know that part of this story that Dad wants to tell is the memory of hitting either a deer or some larger animal with the truck.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, does someone understand that part of the information as well? Just please raise your hand. And Alan, you just stay just where you are.
Hello.
No hands being raised to
Okay.
the,
Then Alan, would you have had an accident where you've hit a deer or some animal?
No, I can't drive.
Right, okay. I know there's a hitting an animal. I feel it's Dad that would have told the story about hitting this animal with the truck.
all right, we have Lisa with her hand up. Let's see here, Lisa, if you could unmute yourself. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Lisa. Would you understand this with your dad driving these different sizes of trucks?
I can take everything in, but I hit the deer.
Right, okay. And you would understand your dad being a very, very quiet gentleman, very few words.
Yes.
And you must have also remembered him telling you stories, though, of the times where he would be out driving.
I don't remember. I don't remember. So young.
Yeah. Sandra, something's not feeling right. I do believe somebody's not putting up their hand.
All right.
I know I've got Dad here. He would have been a truck driver or
I can take
a
everything
lorry
but the end
driver.
of the story.
We've got different names for it in across the globe, but I feel that there would have been this story or there's near miss of Dad telling a story about hitting a deer or some sort of animal on this highway or on this country road.
Thanks, Carrie. Quite
And I
the
know
evidence.
that, yeah, I know that Dad is really, really quiet with his words, but I know that he absolutely dotes on I actually feel I'm reaching out to a daughter because I know there's such an incredible love coming with Dad here.
Oh, we have Margaret with her hand raised. Margaret, could you press your unmute button, please? Hi, Margaret.
Hello.
Hi, Margaret.
Hi. I can't really take the trucks and the cars, but I can take the doctor and the man of few words.
I didn't see he was a doctor.
Oh, I thought you said that.
You know, he's reaching out to his daughter. That's a Scottish accent.
Okay,
Gets
I'm
me
gonna
in
put my
trouble
hand
all
down.
the time.
Well, we
Thank
love
you,
it.
Margaret.
We love it. Well, we have Karen with her hand up. Let's bring in Karen. And Alan, I know you've got your hand up again as well. Karen, could you press your unmute button? Hi, Karen.
Hi. It sounds
Hi,
like
Karen.
my dad.
Sounds
Hi,
like your
Karen.
dad?
Yeah, but not that I don't recall him telling me about hitting a deer, but I know that that happened to when we were driving once, but he wasn't with us.
Okay, but this has happened since your dad's gone to the spirit world.
The hitting of the deer?
Yes.
No, it was when he was still alive.
So Karen, would you understand your dad would be this quiet spoken gentleman?
Yes.
And you would also understand that your dad absolutely doted on you.
Yes.
Because it's this overwhelming sense of love that he can't put into words, but I can feel it without any shadow of a doubt. I also get the sense, Karen, that your dad must have been very private with what he shared or private with what he wanted shared outside the family, because I know what happens in the family stays in the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that with his affection and his love for you, when he was outside the family, he wouldn't necessarily have shown this.
Yeah, correct.
I know too, Karen, that you must have had times at which you would have looked after your dad.
A little, yeah.
Because at those times, I know he didn't want to accept the help,
Yeah.
but I know he
Yes.
knows that you did it through your love for him.
Yeah.
There must have been memories, Karen. I know Denise brought through these the plastic containers, but you must have brought your dad some food.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
have to say, your dad wasn't always aware of what the food consisted of. It wouldn't necessarily be what he would eat.
Yes.
Because I actually feel your dad was somebody who liked very simple food.
Yes.
And he wasn't into adding garlic and spices and all sorts of herbs. But I need to say that your dad absolutely doted on those times. I can't get away from this love that he brings to you, Karen. But I know that you would understand the reason that he would be here now is that you have a challenging time within your family right at this moment.
Yeah.
And I know this is your dad's way of saying he's bringing you food, he's bringing you nurturing, he's bringing all of what you brought for him when he needed it, because he knows you need that little bit extra support at the moment. And I get this feeling from your dad that he very much wants to let you know that under no circumstances will he go anywhere. You must have had quite a few signs from your dad, Karen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you don't sound very sure, because I know your dad gives me this impression that he brought lots of signs, but I know that those signs seem to have tailed off.
I'm not sure.
Okay, then I get this feeling, and I can only express it in the feeling that your dad wants you to know that he is so close to you, but that not to fear that he's gone anywhere, because he's very close with you. And I know that he is wanting to share with you that leave it with the spirit world. Your dad was, because he was very quiet, he wouldn't go and ruffle feathers.
Yeah. Yes.
And if he could offer you a few words, it would be, don't ruffle feathers right now.
Okay. Yes.
It would be to keep your counsel and watch for the perfect moment to say the perfect thing of healing.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, Karen, I'm going to leave your dad's love with you.
Okay.
He is a man of few words and a great expression of emotion and love. I'm going to leave that with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Carrie. So we're all here.
Okay, I do now feel I have Mum here, and who I'm looking for must remember going out with Mum, and going out with Mum specifically to buy a piece of clothing just before Mum passed. So I feel that there is this family occasion or this family gathering that Mum would have gone to with you, and you would have helped her choose the outfit she was wearing to that. And I do feel she did get to that family gathering before she passed.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, we have our friend Lynn. Her hand went right up. Hi, Lynn. Could you press your unmute button?
Hi, Sandra.
Welcome.
Hi, Lynn. You understand
Okay.
everything I've said?
Yes.
But your mum got to this family gathering before she passed.
Yes.
But I know you must have helped your mum with her mobility be able to try on these pieces of clothing.
Yes, I did.
Because I can see your mum not wanting to be a bother, but I know that you were very patient with her, and you would have gone to the high street stores on that occasion with her as well, the ones that we know, the M&S and the Debenhams.
Yes, I did.
Your mum must have, for those, excuse those that are not in the UK, but your mum must have really loved Marks and Spencer's.
Yes, she did.
Because she's taking me around Marks and Spencer's, and I know as I'm walking around those clothes, your mum must have had a real light for mauve, that lilac colour.
Yeah, it was a favourite colour.
Because I know that the colour, she would have got very frustrated when mauve wasn't in the fashion.
Yes.
But I also know your mum must have picked this hat, and this hat for the outfit, but the hat, there must have been a funny memory at this occasion where the hat would not sit straight on her head.
I'm not sure about that.
Then your mum must have had such a small head that she would say that she didn't suit hats.
Yes.
Because I know she feels that this hat doesn't quite fit in place there. But as you were going out with her, you and your mum must have had those moments where you came together over a cup of coffee. I have to say, Lynn, your mum would have had the same places that she liked to go for a cup of coffee, cup of tea, actually.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be coffee, it would be a cup of tea. But I know that you would still have some of your mum's teacups.
I used to, yes.
Okay.
They got
then
lost.
there would be one in particular that had a chip on the teacup.
Yes.
Because I know that she shows me this. I also get the sense, Lynn, that you must have moved house very recently.
Yes.
Because in that move, I know there was a lot of clearing out took place, but you still have a piece of your mum's furniture.
Yes.
And that piece of furniture, you must have been washing or dusting very recently.
Yes.
And you would understand it to be very close to your mum's birthday at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I know you were saying happy birthday, Mum, as you were polishing that piece of furniture.
Yes.
Because I can hear her singing. Your mum's got a good voice.
Yes.
Because she's got a lovely tone about her. But I need to say that she's got quite a strong accent.
Yes.
And I'm not entirely sure I'd be able to understand her, whether she'd be here or not. Where your mum lived, Lynn, you would know where she lived would be on a street with a whole lot of terraced houses.
Yes.
And she would have lived in what we would call a 2 up and 2 down.
Yes.
Because I know she's ever so proud of this 2 up, 2 down when she moved into it. I know too that she would be telling you stories about when they got the internal toilets.
Yes.
And you would have memories of going to your mum's house. She's walking me down memory lane here. And the toilet paper would be that really harsh square paper.
Yeah, I was already thinking about that yesterday.
Because I know that it doesn't really absorb very much, but it's absolutely those squares where it would be, it's almost like greaseproof paper.
Yes.
But I know that you would have memories of that. I know also, Lynn, that you would have memories of when you went back to visit your mum. You must have spent nights with your mum as she got more ill.
Yes.
Because I know you went back to a room in which you would have had memories of being in as a younger person.
Yes.
And you're looking out the window. Your mum must have lived near a river as well, Lynn.
Yes, we did.
Because as you look out that back window, you must have been able to see the river.
Yes.
It's your mum's way of bringing you to those memories and taking you down memory lane and allowing you to know for sure that your mum is acknowledging she's very close to you. I have a sense too that I know you've said that you were thinking of your mum very recently, but this family gathering just before your mum passed, there must be a photograph that somebody has spoken of that captures your mum in that family gathering.
Yes.
And in that picture, your mum put on, you remember your mum putting on the greatest of effort to look like nothing was wrong.
Oh, yes, she did.
Even though she knew things were not going to get any better.
Yes.
Lynn, as your mum passed, you must have been able to see her before she passed in the hospital.
I did, yes, but right at the end, I couldn't do it.
Don't give me too much, Lynn, because I know your mum wants to acknowledge that there was somebody that didn't get to her, but that would be from outside the local area.
Yes.
I know that there is grief still sits with that person. I've not been able to get to your mum, but I know your mum wants to thank you for what you did after she passed, because you went through all that pain, but you were honest and true and gave them the correct experience of what it was like to be with your mum before the end.
Yeah, 100%. Spot on.
And it matters to your mum that you went through that pain in order to allow others to feel like they were there as well.
Yes.
I really feel like I could just sit here and have a little cup of tea with your mum and go down memory lane, because she's taken me to the Marks and Spencer's cafe, and the little pots of tea that she would have. Please know that this is your mum's way. You still have one of your mum's teapots, Lynn?
Somewhere.
Because I know as she showed me the teapot there, I know I felt this feeling of you having her teapots. But at one point, your mum must have had a collection of teapots.
Yeah, she did.
Metal ones and pottery ones, but she would always have one pottery teapot on the top of her kitchen units.
Yes.
That never got used because it was just for show, because it was expensive.
Yes.
Please know that this is your mum's way of letting you know that life goes on, that whatever happened to your mum, you couldn't have done anything about. There was choices, difficult choices made. There was nothing anybody could do, and the right choices were made. But I also know she needs to highlight that right now, once again, your family are making difficult choices.
Yes.
Okay, it's your mum's way of letting you know she sees what's happening and you trust what the family and what you feel is the right thing.
Okay, thank you very much, Kerry.
Just as you did with your mum. Thanks very much, Lynn.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, Sandra, ladies and gentlemen, Darren and Denise, thank you very much for allowing me to work for you. And thank you for Denise for sharing this platform with us and getting up early. It really is a delight to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much, Carrie, for the beautiful demonstration of mediumship, and of course, Denise as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to be part of our Sunday gathering. And now you see why. If this is your first time, you know why people have come all 102 times. So just some announcements. First of all, our loved ones are around us. You can see that with the demonstrations of mediumship. It's so easy to fall into a trap thinking that we're all alone. And someday we'll get to see that unseen force that surrounds everyone. But for now, we just have to trust they are around, they hear us, they support us, and most importantly, they love us. So some announcements going forward. Tomorrow starts our 4-session class with our friend Scott Milligan and myself called Trance and the Altered States. It's a wonderful opportunity to slow down. We spend much of the class with our eyes closed, learning to blend with our inspirers and loved ones in the unseen world. Beautiful class. Also, although we just started all of our weekly classes last week with Carrie and Phil, there's a lot of people that are interested in how do I get in touch, do I have this mediumship potential? And I'm happy to say, like, learning the piano, some people are gifted and some people learn in it and take practice. Although our classes have started, we have our January and February class replays, which are the basics. And we ask you to start with our psychic classes and learn about that world. And then when you're ready, you can join our live classes with Phil and Carrie and really practice. And once you get a hold of how the psychic muscle works, you point that at the spirit world, and that's called mediumship. It's also a beautiful class with Carrie and Phil on Tuesdays, the way to your spirit, that you're welcome to join us for. And on Fridays, we have a demonstration of trance mediumship with Scott Milligan. Also, a big part of that is sitting with our eyes closed for healing, for sending healing, receiving healing. Absolutely beautiful. A shout out to our film. I don't know if you've heard yet, but we have a film called Rinaldi, Instrumental Transcommunication from the Other Side. And that's a film about Sonia Rinaldi and her 30-year work. bringing in voices and pictures of people in the afterlife. And I am proud to say that the Life Beyond Life Film Festival in Torino, Italy, is going to carry the film and show it on the big screen in April. So we are celebrating that. That's a really big deal. And of course, they've asked for Italian subtitles. So those are getting made as we speak. And then last, I want to thank everyone for your donations. We have some people so loyal to our Sunday gathering, and whether you have given or you haven't, it's never expected. But those of you, you know who you are that I'm speaking to right now. You have made this Sunday gathering possible. You've helped all of us put food on our table in some dark times. And you've also helped us spread the word to an even larger audience. So we couldn't be more proud of our Sunday gathering, and we're going to keep on keeping on. So we want to really, really thank you for your generosity. Mwah. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Carrie for the thoughts for the week.
Thank you very much, Sandra. And we know that there are things happening in the world just now. We know that there are tragedies, and we know that there are things taking place that we don't have control of, but you can do your bit. Darren did a beautiful introduction to healing, talking through healing and then guiding us into that healing space. If you were to do a little bit of healing every single day, imagine what a difference that would make. When we watch things and we take on the energy of what we're watching, we're not helping. We can watch and then we can take that and move it into motion of moving forward. So let's send that love, that healing, that nurturing, that caring, that compassion out into the world. If we all do that every single day, we won't know what difference we have had now. But I have a sneaky suspicion, spirit side, that when it becomes our time to go there, we will know what difference we have made. Healing is about being truly in service. It doesn't come with a reward. It doesn't come with a lapel badge saying you've done so much or so many hours. It comes with a sense of being in service. It's done because we care, and it's done because we love. So send that love and send that healing. Send those people around the world more of what they're desperately needing, which is hope and joy and love. Let's move into the closing prayer. Divine and ever-present Spirit, although our world has a different tone about it at the moment, we know you still shine brightly in every single one of us. Whether we can see that light within ourselves or whether that light is dimmed for whatever reason, we know that we are still loved. We know that we have a purpose, and that purpose is to bring peace and to bring healing. We know that truly within ourselves, we can make a difference. So remind us of that divine essence within us. Remind us that we are part of you, and remind us more than ever that what we do to another, we do to ourselves. Help us see the truth of being part of humankind. Help us see the part of being included within human kindness, and allow us to see the truth that yes, we don't die, but yes, we want to live to make that difference for everybody else who walks this planet. Allow us to truly move through the week with that healing and hope in our hearts. Amen.
Thank you very much, Carrie. And thank you to Darren and Denise and Phil in the background, and all of our loved ones who are in the background in this invisible space around us. And of course, to you for taking the time to be with us today. As we move into our closing song, I want to just remind you, our home base is wedon'tdie.com. It's not too early to register for next week. And of course, you know, you get the reminder 1 hour before. So wedon'tdie.com. We also have a Facebook group there if you want to join and meet some like-minded friends. So we're going to play our closing song now, and just listen in for a little magic. Here we go.